In next week's EastEnders, George grapples with a family secret as Eddie leverages information about his birth mother. Stacy faces pressure from Johnny regarding Denise, and Yolanda is embroiled in rumors of an affair with Pastor Clayton. The charity auction brings surprises, with unsettling discoveries and mysteries unfolding in Walford. 12 huge EastEnders spoilers for next week. What's coming up in Walford? EastEnders spoilers follow. Next week on EastEnders, George has a big decision to make over Eddie's trial, while Stacy is caught out by Jack, and Yolanda makes an unsettling discovery. Here's a full collection of the biggest moments coming up. 1. George struggles to cope. It's Mother's Day in Walford, and Cindy is excited about celebrating with Gina, Anna, and Peter together for the first time. However, George is struggling to cope, having been informed that no DNA matches have been found for him and no trace of his birth family. 2. Gina and Anna learn the truth. Elaine and Cindy urge George to tell Gina and Anna the truth about his heritage before they head to Jamaica. He reluctantly agrees, and Gina and Anna are horrified when George shares his story. They are even more furious to discover the truth about Eddie and the trial. 3. Johnny puts pressure on Stacy. Stacy and Jack are thrown together as Lily and Ricky celebrate Mother's Day at Walford East. Amy and Ricky beg Jack to let them see Denise, and he promises to try to make it happen but to no avail. With Denise still refusing to see anyone, Johnny tells Stacy that she needs to get to her before Jack and the kids do, or they run the risk of their secret being revealed. 4. George has a huge decision to make. Gloria tries to contact George after being coerced by Eddie, and begs him to give a defense statement in court. George goes to see them and tells them to never contact him or the girls again. However, Eddie retaliates by telling him that he's got information about George's birth mother and will only hand it over if George gives him a character reference in court the following day. 5. Suki tries to make amends with Eve. Vinny tells Suki to make it up with Eve, who is still hurt that Suki moved out of the Slater house. Suki apologizes to Eve and invites her to move into number 41 with her, but doesn't get the response she wanted. 6. Jean supports Jade. Jean steps in to save the day when Jade is about to cancel her charity auction. She soon realizes just how much there is to do, and how very little time they have to do it in. Jean struggles with a lack of donations for the auction, until Pastor Clayton and Yolanda step in to help. 7. George takes to the stand. George is in turmoil as he contemplates Eddie's ultimatum, leaving his family desperately worried for him. Elaine asks Johnny to talk through the legal implications of giving the statement in the hope this will make George's mind up, but he remains conflicted. After a heart-to-heart with Linda, George decides to trust his gut and heads to the trial, where Gloria is distracted by the arrival of a mysterious woman. George eventually arrives at the court and takes to the stand. 8. Stacy is caught out. Johnny piles on the pressure to get Stacy to sort the issue of Denise, reminding her of what it will mean for the Six if she doesn't. Stacy manages to get Denise to let her visit, where she learns that Denise is no longer seeing Keanu but intends to stay in hospital. Stacy argues that Denise needs her family around her, until Jack walks in and demands to know why Stacy is there. 9. Eve finds an unlikely ally. Penny becomes an unlikely confidant for Eve, who is worried that living with Suki's family would be a recipe for disaster. Following some advice from Penny, Eve finally talks to Suki about her fears. 10. George gets a mystery visitor. Elaine continues to worry about George following the trial. Cindy joins forces with Elaine to help George for the sake of Gina and Anna, but the arrival of a mystery visitor at the Vic soon changes everything. 11. Jack grows suspicious. Stacy thinks on her feet to give Jack a convincing cover story as to why she's with Denise. During a talk with Dr. Abe later, Denise explains that she feels safe in the hospital and wants to stay. Jack is hurt after being rejected by Denise again and becomes increasingly unsettled by her closeness to Stacy. Unable to shake off his concerns, he starts to do some digging. 12. Yolanda makes an unsettling discovery. Yolanda addresses the prayer group to ask for donations to the charity auction, and she and Pastor Clayton delight Jean with their help. Yolanda is later upset to discover from a fellow churchgoer that people are whispering about her relationship with Pastor Clayton. A further upsetting incident at the church leaves Yolanda feeling worse about the rumors flying around them. When Pastor Clayton makes Yolanda tell him what's going on, he denounces the gossips and makes her promise that it won't affect their friendship. EastEnders airs on Mondays, Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. on BBC One. The show also streams on BBC iPlayer, where most episodes drop early at 6 a.m. ahead of their TV broadcast. Dish Dirt Shock Affair rumors push EastEnders favorite to the edge. Could the rumors be true? Yolanda Truman has found her mark again in Walford after making a permanent return in August 2023. Unfortunately for her, gossip is rife in the square and the EastEnders legend is shaken when rumors report she's having an affair. Actress Angela Winter reprised the role of Yolanda Truman last year as the character returned to Albert Square during the summer. Upon her surprise return, Yolanda rekindled her marriage with fellow legend Patrick Truman after spending years separated from him. As die-hard viewers of the London-based program will remember, Yolanda was married to Patrick Truman when she decided to leave Walford in 2008 for a new life in Birmingham. Although he initially planned to join her, Patrick stayed in the square and they called time on their marriage. In recent scenes of the BBC One soap, Yolanda was the target of a brutal attack with Walford teen Denzel Danes. Prior to this, Denzel suspected that Yolanda may be having an affair with Pastor Clayton. Next week, Yolanda is caught up with the same suspicions again as someone from the local church becomes increasingly convinced she's hiding something. It all begins when Jean Slater steps in to save the day when Jade Green is about to cancel her charity auction, but there's an awful lot to do and very little time. The cleaner struggles with a lack of donations for the auction, but, thankfully for her, Pastor Clayton and Yolanda approach her and agree to help. Later on, Yolanda addresses the prayer group to ask for donations to the charity auction. Yolanda and Pastor Clayton make an outstanding team and she gives a thrilled Jean tons of great items, becoming elated in doing so. Unfortunately, Yolanda's joy is cut short and she's upset to discover from fellow churchgoer Agatha that people are whispering about her relationship with Pastor Clayton. An upsetting incident at the church leaves Yolanda feeling worse about the rumors flying around her and Pastor Clayton. This is until Pastor Clayton himself makes her tell him what's going on. Once he finds out, he denounces the gossips, making Yolanda promise that it won't affect their friendship, but could there be more to their bond? Is Yolanda keeping something from Patrick? Fans may recall that Pastor Clayton was brought into the EastEnders lineup for a shocking love triangle storyline. How will it all play out? EastEnders airs from Monday to Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on BBC One. Please subscribe our channel.